Salute, salute, salute. Peace and power, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power to the people of the struggle. Salute, salute, salute. As you come on in, please know that this is a safe space. Know that this is a space of learning and getting learned up. Know that this is a space of educating and being educated. Know that this is a space for comments, concerns, conversation, questions, answers, theories, analyzing. This is a space of intelligence, your space, as we work on a path towards true liberation. As my classroom assistants come on in, please make sure all contact information is in the chat for the duration of class. Please make sure all funding information is in the chat for the duration of class. I'm well aware that today's the 2nd. I'm well aware that yesterday was Friday and y'all did what y'all had to do. Scrape the last little bit and let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. If you or anybody you know is in need of anger management, please book an assessment. I don't care if it's the slightest issue. I don't care if it's something you feeling so deep in your gut that it makes you wiggle a little. I don't care if you get headaches, if it's intense and you get migraines and you're trying to figure it out. Book an assessment. Anger, unmanaged anger is unhealthy. Let's get it right. I don't want to see you on the news. I don't want to see you coming through Citizens app. Listen, book an assessment. If you or anyone you know is in need of a domestic violence intervention or some domestic violence consulting, please book an assessment. Find out the alerts, the alarms. You dig? What you need to be aware of. The behaviors. Book this assessment. If it is intimate relationship abuse, right? Between relatives, between siblings, book an assessment. All right? Remember, the life you save could be your own. What it do? Yeah, please excuse the sound. That's the rain. Remember, we got the glass, natural lighting, ceiling, so it's, we hearing all that. Anytime it rain or snow, you can hear it intensely here. You dig? Yeah, because we got the, they try to get fancy in this spot here. So excuse that. All right? We have not a lot of people to tag other than your classmates. We do need to tag, what is this thing? And y'all gonna have to ride with me in class today because I do hear and listen and watch as much as I am able to, but this Carbonation and Carbonation family, I wasn't feeling anything from it, from the rip. And we'll get into exactly why. But tag them, or maybe few of you might have been followers, or fans, or subscribers to the Carbonation. Tag them in there. Yeah, tag them in class today. You can't tag homie. He up out of here. Okay? Up out of here. Nature got natural life, probably. Okay? So tag that little nation up in there. I damn sure know for certain, y'all don't know who this Snowpiece is, but it's purposely done that way. A Kevin Monahan, who unalived another Snowpiece, a young girl. And we'll get into that, right? And we definitely, have empathy for family members, but we're going to show just how the justice system is definitely biased, and the media is biased in the coverage of these things, and it makes it appear that we're the only ones, right, in the practice of harming each other. Okay? We're going to get into that. Everything else that y'all want to get into, and I know is a lot. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm in a space now where I understand our position as a classroom, our position in this little social media space. People are definitely taking from this class and running with it. And you'll be surprised at some of the trolls who they may be attached to, because a lot of our language from this class is being heard on higher volume platforms, right? What we spoke about is now being spoke about on other platforms, especially. Then did y'all just peep the D.L. Hughley, his last, little rant against the portly Palestinian? We've been going at him for quite some time now. So now it's going to get traction. Remember, we started this here class. We've been speaking on him, not mentioning anything that has to do with his ethnicity. He claimed he's an ethnic Palestinian. He claimed that he's a national Palestinian. That's his people. Haven't mentioned anything about them. We've been saying that. So now we're going to see how much traction it get since Mr. Hughley spoke on it. His corny self. Okay? So we know what it is here. But it's Saturday. Y'all might have to tag quite a few of y'all class members. Even though it's raining up here in the tri-state. It ain't raining everywhere. And a lot of people may have already been situated not to expect a class Saturday afternoon. Yeah. So we might have got them. Yeah. But let's see who in the building. Dust Fro. Peace, you up in here? Van. Rutledge. Yes, you up in the spot. Peace and power. Yeah. I see you. Yeah. You be sleeping, huh? You better get your ass out. Yeah, so you can get your grades up. Andrea, what's going on? Philip Boone. What up, A. Wood? I see you. Geechee. See Corey Grant. And Strictly Game the Brand LA. Ha. Construction Site Media, what's going on? C Blades. We see you, C Blades. What up? Zone 864. Mark Hines. 55. We got him, y'all. Got him. You got him. T Green. What up? Merc. Low. What's going on? Let's play. What's going on? Kyra. Nose. What up? CB, what's good? What's going on? Dennis Williams, 55. Whole lot. Yeah. Hey, Ghoster, 55. Ghoster, we caught you. LAT. All right, yeah. Latrell. What up? The salon is up in the spot. All of them in there getting all purdy and they're watching the kid. That's what we talking about. Yes, Pierre, Jenny, what's going on? Kid Chris, 55, caught him, gotcha. Yeah, they up in here. Yeah, they trying to creep on up in here. TC, yeah, who else is up in here? Moot, what's going on? Yeah, B, bro, 55, baby. Take 2 5s, 2 B's, take it. Delilah, yes, we know it's coming from Van. Much appreciated for funding the war effort. Come on, let's get it on. What? Scale Blazers? 55 caught him? Oh, no. Is he Breeze? What up, 55? Caught him? Sales, what's going on? King, hey, V, Hayes, what's going on, Hayes? We see you up in here. Yeah, see our profit getters, yeah. BWB Wealth, 55. Yeah. You won't get sent to the principal. 55s. LG, what up? Emerge the MC, you up in the spot. Let's get it. Listen, I know, and I'm trying to figure out because last night, Bernadette, salute. I really wanted to have a late evening class, but I didn't believe it would do it justice. So again, I'm making an attempt to move around, but there's a lot of interchangeable parts in class. Like we have people from the West Coast, they 3 hours behind. Mountain and Central Time, down south 2 hours all the way around. We have classmates overseas. We got London, right? We got Zurich, Switzerland, right? We got Berlin. We have a lot of people that's up in the mix. So late night on a Friday night, I said, let me wait. I wanted to do it early this morning. Had things to do in the rain. So I said, let me get this here right. And I definitely wanted to speak on this Nature Boy conviction, okay? I haven't been following the case at all. I haven't followed the movement at all. There's certain people who, when I first entered the space, right? I was always on Facebook in the mix of the work. And when I really stepped in, there were young dudes, right? A few of them who always kept me abreast of who was who, what movement was what, who's following, conscious communities, woke communities, right? Different spaces. And they would hit me to certain people and what's going on, especially when it came to New York. And then people themselves were getting a lot of momentum and traction. I could care less at that time about YouTube. I was knee deep in the specific work. So these young boys, Cosmology Bay, Bullets Gotti, it's just a marsh of them that always was hit me. This is this, this is that, this is this. And then they had information, right? First-hand information on a lot of the going-ons. Again, me being not only in the work, but also having my own clientele and then making an attempt to do this, right? To have this class consistent. A lot of movements or a lot of people I would witness, and I'm very quick with it as far as the understanding and the comprehension pieces of what somebody is saying. And if there's no mission statement that at the end of it, or in the language at the end of it, is not moving towards liberation for us, I move past. I can already see it, either the scam or the foolishness of it. I say something about it. I sat on different panels, different groups, Zooms and all that, and build with a lot of different people. And Again, if it was pure ignorance or waste of time, I usually left it alone. And a lot of things that popped up in this YouTube space were just that: scams, delusions, waste of time and energy. But as an educator and as a liberator, you have to allow people their own space to figure things out. It is not on us to force our ideology, our manifestation on people. Then we're no different than the oppressors if we do that. We allow them the space and time to collect themselves and try to get on the correct move, right? Unless in their delusion and in their organization and in their mission, they make an attempt to be an enemy towards us. And at that point, they done off. Then we go all the way in. And it's not for social media. We get on that jazz for real. So I wasn't one to run and try to figure it out. When I saw it from the rip, I thought it was some Al or Dr. Moreau type thing. You dig what I'm saying? That's what I believed it to be. Some, again, craziness. It just was weird. And it didn't make any sense, right? We wasn't going anywhere with it. That's just what it was. Okay? Again, when we speaking on that space and in the form or the format that he was moving in, we have to always understand something. And this is just for anything. I didn't want to get right into it this early because I definitely want to speak on this Snowpiece, this old Faye, right? But whenever our people, melanated people, right? Whenever we are looked at by our enemies, whenever we have alerted them to who we are and what we're doing, or we are in a space where we are charged by them by specific to highly specific, what they deem crimes, they're going to come at you with everything. And those two things are anything that has to deal with control of sex and sexuality in that space, or robbery and property. Listen, property, robbery, sex and mind control, or sex as a weapon, and you are a melanated person, everything that they have at their disposal is coming right at you. Why? Why? You may ask, but why those two? Because our enemies, our oppressors, enslavers, however you want to title them, those two are tools that they utilize very effectively to keep us disorganized, right? To keep us disorganized and under their control. When you have the ability to control a nation's or group of people thoughts about themselves and their sexual behavior, or you can keep control of their finances and ability to earn, you have them locked. So how dare How dare someone who comes from the oppressed, who comes from the enslaved, use those tools for the benefit of themselves? Anytime, and I'm telling you, anytime a melanated person is charged with that, any of those, you're going down. I'm telling you, I have in my time witnessed people walk on homicides. I've seen people have homicides broken down to criminally negligent homicides. I've seen people have homicides broken down to aggravated assaults or when they break it down to a non-violent, oh my good, manslaughter in the second degree, right? Which in New York State, if it's still there on the books like that, actually non-violent. And I've seen people get work release for manslaughter in the second degree, back when they still had work release. So again, I've seen that happen, and I've seen people get 25 years for a robbery where no one was actually physically hurt. Crimes against property in a capitalist society are viewed by them as the most heinous. And I'm telling you, from somebody who threw that hammer around, they will lose you, okay? They will lose you. I'm just telling you. Now, when you have the ability, however your ability may lie, some may call it charisma, some may call it a certain type of intelligence or slickness, some may say you have a keen awareness or predatory nature. When you have the ability to control people using sex as a weapon, Mofes don't like that. No. Because they know that that is their ultimate tool and that is their ultimate prize. Because we know the Mofes want your grippers. We know that from the rip. We know it from Caligula. We know it from Columbus. We know it from, that's their thing. Their ultimate objective is to dehumanize you, to enslave you, okay? To make you permanently feel less than. And if they use sex to get there, to acquire, right, to make that ends meet, man, they get a double bonus. They get a double bonus. So how dare you? Yeah, metal face, yeah, they want your grippers. Yeah, you better protect your grippers. I'm telling you, man. Do you understand that? So yeah, they know that. So how does a melanated person last in that space? Which is why the prototypical pimp was such a pariah. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, the old phase, the oppressor, them Snowpieces despise more than a melanated pimp. Can't stand them. Especially a pimp who is strictly game finesse. who's not on no gorilla, who understands here how it works, how it is applied, because he is totally outside of the threats, the realms, and the institution of white supremacy, utilizing the same exact tools without force. Okay? Which is why you don't see them no more. You barely see them. Once they eliminated that, once they eliminated people's fascination with the old school game and frame of what that is, you have what you have right now. A cluster of garbage that we see right now that benefits our oppressor, because anybody can be anything to anyone at any given time, but they're all folding to the system. They don't care. That's why everything is on the books. As far as policies and all that is legitimate for them. They don't care about specific small groupings, because in the end, these institutions of the 1% is benefiting from that. So once they eliminated that, right? Once they eliminated the bishops, once they eliminated the Kenny Reds, once they eliminated the idea, the thought of what it is and how it should be applied, they were on top. Because you can easily get rid of the liberator. You can easily get rid of the activist, the organizer. But the criminal element, because in the act of criminality, people hold a certain prestige because it always seems as if you're getting over, right? No other group of people wants to get over more than our people, which is why there's a big element of adoration, adoring our criminals, right? You still praising the Meeches, you still praising the Preems, you're still praising these individuals, right? The preachers, all this, these legends. You praise these individuals because they come in the guise of living outside of the system and being all powerful in and among our people. It's easy to get rid of them, but it was damn hard, almost impossible to get rid of the black pimp, because it seemed like they would never go out of style, because it always took a certain type of intelligence and articulation. They have a very different air about themselves. And Whitey could never get around it, ever. And always fell victim to that. Trust and believe, they always had a love-hate relationship with that person. And you've seen Bishop Magic Don Juan with Don King, with Donald Trump, Phil Donahue. You've seen them everywhere on the highest levels of society, because there's a certain mysticism about them and what people believe that they are able to do. So when you control a person's sexuality, right? When you are able to control that behavior, and you are able to manipulate how they manifest themselves sexually. Hey, you won. A lot of us fail to realize that in and behind the cloak of the entertainment industry, there's a lot of sexual domination going on. We could call it Grippergate and laugh about it, but it's very real, it's very serious, okay? And that is at the cusp of almost every realm of this capitalist society, whether it's in the clergy, or it's on Wall Street, or it's in politics, which all coincide with levels to that 1%, to that class that has the means to oppress, right? It's all different layers to one. It's just an octopus with many tentacles. You dig? So the sexual domination piece, it is what it is. Because what did we discuss in class several times? That when you lay with someone, when someone has you naked, you are at your most vulnerable. You are toast. It's not when you're in the street in the hood and you don't have a hammer on you. It's not when you at work. It's not none of that. Shit, it's not even behind the walls of prisons and penitentiaries. You are most vulnerable when you are at the beck and call of someone and you're laying naked. At that point, the one who's controlling can definitely cause these people to do anything. So when you have a man, a melanated person, who is being deemed a cult leader, and a cult, a sexual cult leader, man, whoo, they on your ass. And when they catch you and they catch up to you, that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. Now we go on in another class about how they were able to seemingly get rid of the black pimp from society. We will go on in another class about the actual workings of that and how they move the language legally from pandering, right, to trafficking and things like that. And it shifted. It shifted the dynamic and made them irrelevant. Y'all up out of here. And scared the devil out of them. Got them up out of there, straightened their ass right on up. And in that, again, now you take away another person whose image was of one of rebellion and importance to a community that was oppressed. Man, it gets very deep. That's a different subject entirely. Okay? But when you're using certain words, spirituality, free sexuality, freedom, lawlessness, and you put it up in a space and get deemed the leader of it, it's only a matter of time. So for those who aren't aware, because again, I'm not aware, I didn't give two damns about them. There's nothing in what was designed, right? And definitely there was no structure to it. No structure, no doctrine. Everything came from this individual. And it always has me like, well, who are the people that are up under it, right? It's like the NFAC, and all that. Like, who the hell would follow these individuals? Who? I'm dumbfounded. And then when you go into the history of the people following, and then you go into the history of the individuals who's sitting on the top of it, you say, oh, okay, now I get it. But if it was no social media, these things, they wouldn't even be they would have no way to be publicized. It wouldn't be anything. It would get no traction. Social media is the one that explodes a lot of this, because it's not like it hasn't been done. This shit right here was done in Brooklyn several times over. Okay? It's been done in North Carolina. It's been done in California. This type of behavior and activity has been going on with our people, man, for a century, couple of centuries. So let's see exactly what was transpiring and what ultimately happened. Alleged cult leader known as Natureboy heading to trial on scrape charges in DeKalb County. Right? Now, this was before. Check this out. This was the language. Nearly 2 years after his arrest during a late-night raid, a man accused of being a cult leader and scraping a former follower will head to trial this week. Eligio Bishop, also known as Natureboy, was arrested in April 2022. Okay? DeKalb County authorities charged Bishop with the scrape, false imprisonment, and 3 counts of prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions. Okay? And I keep telling y'all, don't be playing on the internet and then thinking that you're getting some type of get back by throwing things out. I'm telling you, it will come back. Don't do it. Whatever people do with each other in the guise of adult privacy, hold it. Y'all hold it. Keep it to yourselves. But don't try to, which I want to deem embarrass or expose individuals. It's going to bang you. Okay? Neighbors have accused Bishop of running an online cult called Carbonation. The trial was scheduled to begin Tuesday, right? But now jury selection is Wednesday. Boom, quote unquote, Carbonation is his cult. He's been whooping girls, beating girls, fertilizing girls, getting girls ready for marriage, quote unquote, a female neighbor said, not giving her name. Now, this is a neighbor. A neighbor. Listen to the language. A neighbor, right? Knowing it's a cult, calling it a cult, saying online. Okay? You dig that? Now. Right? Boom, boom, boom. The DeKalb County District Attorney says Bishop scraped a former follower who tried to leave the cult in March 2022. The DA's office says he also posted revenge porn. Revenge porn. All right? Revenge. You hear it, right? Revenge porn. Okay? Online after the victim left. The news went by the home in April where several people claimed to be his disciples were. Basically, the police raided us on false accusations. One of the disciples, who go by the name of such and such told the news. Okay? This disciple said that Bishop is their God, and as a group, they believe in nature, nudity, and kindness. He said the criminal accusations are coming from a disgruntled former member of the nation. Quote unquote. She said she was here under false imprisonment. We have live documentation of when we said, hey, if you want to leave, you can leave. Nobody's forcing you to stay here, this disciple said. According to a 2017 report, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, Bishop is a former model, stripper, and barber. Model, stripper, and barber. I mean, cutting hair, shaking his grippers, and trying to be down with Tyson Beckford. This is who they chose to follow. A gripper grinding hair cutter. Okay? This is who, okay, they said. Alright? This is who they follow. This is who the disciples are saying that he is their God. A gripper shaker, one against the grain model. Okay? Now y'all get that. So now we know he blew trial to these charges. They're saying in the courtroom he was wilding, saying during the trial he was making an attempt to fire his attorneys. He was definitely bugging out. Now, but this also says, look now, he also had ties to ATL dating back to at least 2009, around 2016, he and his followers moved to Central America, and that's when I was hearing about him. Then to Honduras, and then to Costa Rica until they was forced to leave. So they was just bouncing around. In 2020, reports showed that he was arrested in Hawaii for breaking, the pandemic quarantine rules. And then he eventually came to Atlanta. So they was bouncing around, and this is when I was hearing about them and seeing them on social media and how they was living in the rumors and Allen, all this free love and free life and no constraint type of movement. And I'm trying to figure out what was going on. Shit made no sense to me. But then again, when people are in these type of spaces, right? And I was hearing wildness. The Batman Forever, the Creep, all type of weirdness was going on with up in it. And people were trying to go at him. And people were online, again, defending this type of shit. That's what social media allows people to do. To become these sort of funny style entities over this shit. And I'm always looking like, okay, this shit has nothing to do with nothing. But people were donating to it. See, in this class, we struggle to get any type of funding for anything that we do. Right? However, when you prop up meaningless shit, because there's no one telling any of you who they can or can't lay with at all. So you can have your whole damn nation in your living room. You could do whatever. I know people in Brooklyn that still to this day have these swinging functions and all that. Nobody's telling you who you can or can't be until you go up against the oppressor. Then everybody coming at you. You can't do this. When I'm telling you to believe in you, not me. Oh, you can't tell people to believe in themselves. You can't believe that people are going to love themselves. You can't tell them that. You can't tell them that they can be liberated. You get attacked all day for that. But you can tell people to run out and live on a beach in a sleeping bag and just wow out on each other grippers, and it's okay. They'll blow the channel up, donate to all that. Not even questioning who these individuals are, where they came from, who went to school with them. These are the questions I ask about any of these personalities that go through media training in the back, that pay to get their numbers up, to make deals with YouTube, with IG, with all these brands, and go and sitting in these pocket offices weighing the cuts with these Snowpieces. And then come before people as this black resistance and woo, and we're doing so much. And I'm like, who are these people? Where are their elementary and middle school classmates? Where are their high school classmates? Where are their parents and cousins and shit like that? Now, they don't question this. How can this dude, a barber, somebody, he been shaping dudes up, or maybe they just saying he was a barber, but a stripper, where's the footage? He had to have footage if they call him a barber and a stripper. And a wannabe model to all of a sudden be the nature boy. And to get a following, and that following was thick. Thick. I'm telling you, if you don't understand, all you have to do is backtrack. You do these little Google searches or go searches of that nation and reading the comments, and people was rocking with it hard. Trust and believe. Trust and believe they was rocking with them. And if you said anything derogatory about it, oh, you just want to live under the value systems of white society and what? I'm looking at this ashy ass dude on the beach somewhere talking about how powerful they are living like that. And I was like, they don't even have no lotion. But people were caught up into being somewhere where you're not going to be judged for your freakish ways. I'm saying, I'm like, how promising of a life did that look to individuals? Because I could see you getting gassed by the NFAC and the thought and the ideal of free arms and walking with arms and telling an old cracker what you gonna do. Telling the system what you gonna do. Even though you got clips falling out of the... I can see that. I can see that. You understand what I'm saying? I can see that. Because people still caught up in the image of the Panthers and stuff. So I can see you getting caught up in that dumb shit by that agent. But for somebody to say, come on over. We on this island. And we loving on each other. And for the men's, look, we got women's. We in this poly lifestyle. And we on this beach. And we got fruits. But we ain't got no knife to cut the fruit. We got fruits. But we loving on each other, but we ain't got no lube. So if the grippers get roughed up, put a little bit of the beach water back there. We out here though. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, this is really a thing in 2016 and 2017? This is a thing? And yeah, and people were running with it online. And I'm saying it to say how foolish it is. Because your beliefs. Jean, Pierre, salute, much appreciated. I can see how foolish. I'm like, really? Really? People want to have free love so bad in the confines of your home. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. But this was a thing until people were saying it wasn't. You know, it ain't fun no more. I'm over here, I'm on this island, I need a steak. Like, we ain't got no steak. And it becomes a space where I don't want to give you no grippers today. I'm over here, my belly and my back. You got me eating coconut skin and all this other weird shit. There's no lotion. My feet funky. I want to go home. It ain't fun no more. You understand? But now they realizing it ain't fun. So what do they do? What do they do? Exactly, LA. Put me back in the matrix. And what is always the default? What is always the fallback when black folk don't want to do nothing no more? They always go back to the oppressor, always back to daddy. That's why I tell y'all that when people come in the form of saying that they're going to do so much for the people, you gotta question that. Hard body with critical questions and expecting answers to flow like that make all common sense. You understand? And I don't care who it is. I don't care if they sit in nonprofit spaces, in activist claiming spaces, in clergy spaces, in political spaces. I don't care if it's online. I don't care if it's in the street. If they cannot answer tough, critical questions about how they're going to get you away from these institutions and you able to sustain it, then they full of shit. That's just what it is. In this class, we seeking a true path to total liberation. You're not playing no games with it. You want sex on the beach? Why the hell are you going to Costa Rica? Your ass could go to Coney Island. City Island. Governors on, goddamn it, you can go anywhere. Jersey Shore. You mean to tell me that this person convinced people to leave family, to leave income, to leave lotion and Aquaphor, to go to a beach just so they could play in each other grippers? And that was a thing? No. Because people get tired. The only reason why the culture of hip-hop and commercial rap has been able to sustain itself and the over-sexualization of its audience is because it's here, it's safe, it's right there. People could do whatever they want to do, still go to work, still be able to maintain what's going on with their children or families or whatever is allowed. This is how the oppressive institutions realize we can let them people do whatever they want. We can allow them to believe in anything that they want to believe in as long as they don't believe in themselves. And shit, it doesn't affect us. So people are able to do that, and they'll do it willingly. You can get people to buy into anything. You can literally set up a whole YouTube space for people to say, you know what? We believe and we worship in sunflower seeds. And we're going to be the sunflower seed eating people. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to say the power of the sunflower seed is going to free us. And you will get 20,000 followers, and they will subscribe, and they will do all that. And the powers that be don't give a damn. But the minute you tell people that they are God and that they should believe in themselves and love themselves and do for themselves, automatic shutdown. Automatic. You understand? You can be comfortable in your oppression. I said it again, and I'm going to keep saying it. When people convince you to be comfortable in your oppression, they are more of an enemy to you than the enemy themselves. There's no comfortability in this. That is why we deal with that. This is why we deal with anger management and other therapeutic spaces. Because you can't be comfortable in this. There's no comfortability in knowing that you are not living out your potential. No way. You can't be comfortable. You're going to be angry. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to have anxieties. You're going to have all of that because you know that you did not come here. You was not birthed here to be anyone's slave. You are not birthed here to believe in the unseen and the falseness. You were not born here to believe in the bag. You're going to be uncomfortable. That's what this is. In order for you to become comfortable and feel healthy, you're going to have to live out your potential. You're going to have knowledge of self and acknowledge the love and the belief in you. It's the only way it's going to work. So now this individual, again, was able to do what he was able to do because there are people who believe that they can hump their life away, that they can always feel good in that pleasure space. But you get old. The exercise of sex gets old. Women going to dry up. Your ass is going to dry up. Men are going to get limp. And then who are you? Without that, you're still enslaved. And the older you get, the less value you have in the system. And then they looking to get rid of you. Cut you off of Social Security, don't give you health care, unemployable. You on your own. And if you don't have a way to organize a network and become these groups that are self-sufficient, you're done. So I always watch these organizations, these people, now stand them up and sit. It's okay. It's fun. It's funny. It's cool. You're existing. So I'm looking at all these platforms. They're not saying shit. They're not telling you anything. They are existing in these spaces because they're being allowed to. But when you do that thing that your enemy has done effectively and almost perfectly to keep people oppressed, you finish. They're on your ass. And when you go to trial for it, that's your ass. Yes. Yes. But I don't want y'all to believe that it just happened. All these things line up because legally on the books it's setting precedent. One case sets precedent for the next case because we didn't have to know anything about that. And I'm sure some people still don't, which is why a lot of people on social media that have these platforms didn't speak about it last night. I know because I was watching, I was looking, I was searching the name. None of them said anything. They'll do it now. You're going to get the Sinetas, you're going to get the everybody else now, today, talking about it. A lot of them was rocking with him. A lot of them was in agreement with the lifestyle and the way the cult was moving. So some of them were quiet on it. However, this case is setting legal precedents and statutes, right? And the language in it and what was being said in the transcripts on how they locked it by the conviction, this is setting the stage for Puffy. This is setting the stage for Clive Davis. This is setting the stage for all of that that's to come. Just how they was doing with the narco cases and the RICO cases back in the days. When they was catching them dudes in the late 80s, boom, they put a law in place. They found a group that fit, supposedly, that law, and they went after them. And then they allow it to play out in court. And once the conviction is there, bam! Now the law is on the books. Now they can threaten others with it. Once they get caught, oh, you saw such and such in them. Yeah, we gave them 100 years. You fit the same guidelines. What are you going to do? You going to go to trial and get this 100? Or you going to take this 30? And they doing the math in their head. I'll take the 30. So that's what this is about. It's like the whole Bill Cosby. Yeah. Legally, there were statutes in there that they put in place for the Epsteins and the Weinsteins. And all that shit come down, and it's going to fit right there. For USA versus Combs. Yeah. And the language in this Natureboy case is going to be used in the entertainment industry because they were specific to calling it online. So now how the entertainment industry using online sales, online marketing, online measurements, right? Online analytics in that industry and showing that it's an industry and that money is exchanged through it. Same thing. Same thing is going to be used now in the furtherance of taking these other people who are seemingly on top of the commercial rap industry. Y'all keep hearing these little things. This one forced me to do this. This one signed me and then did this. This one told me if I don't do this, I can't get a song. All of that is going to be language specific to getting these individuals charged. Once they get charged and they can get convicted, them contracts that the industry has with them is void. That's it. You done off. Done off. Done off. It's setting legal precedent. Listen to the language. If you have enough time and resource to get certain transcripts from it, you're going to see. You're going to see what was said, how it was said, which individuals. Man. Woo. Nothing within the context of the matrix, if you want to call it that, or the institutions, if y'all want to call it that, nothing is separate. It is an octopus with a lot of tentacles. And when it comes to the legal system and how it plays, yeah. You're going to see it. You don't hear about it. You don't hear about it. Why would you think they would group Puffy, Cuba Gooding Jr.? Why do you think they grouping it like that? That's the whispers and the murmur. I'm telling you. It's the same thing that they did to the gang culture in New York City. The same thing. Once they got that first large group based on certain statutes and how they was using the internet to communicate, they used that shit for a decade. And any group that popped up, they just waited. And then they came and banged them. Let me get 30 of y'all right off the street. And over there, let me get 18 of y'all. Go over here, let me get 35 of y'all. That's what they do. It's just now that they come into the entertainment industry, right? Because they're not cashing in anymore on how they invest in it. It's not. It got stripped from up under them, right? Again, I told you over and over, when it was something, right, that was tangible, like a vinyl record, like a cassette, 8-track or a CD or a DVD, these are tangible items. So the consumer goes in, you see the cash, you see the credit, you see what is being bought. It's tangible. Now with this streaming and all this, it's not tangible results. So the tracking of it is very different. So they don't need a Puffy. They don't need a Jermaine Dupri. They don't. When you think 50 got up out of it, they don't need these individuals no more, because through the technology, shit, they could create an AI gangster drill rapper from anywhere. And people will believe it, and the shit won't be real at all. It won't even be a real person, a real city, a real state, none of that. Could create it, push it, and it'll go. Whew. So they don't need these dudes. Why they gotta pay them? You know what? It's time for them to go. It's time for them to go. And what do we always say in this class? What do we always say that in this class? They don't have to kill the Black Messiah, because they already killed the idea of a Black Messiah in Black people. I want y'all to repeat after me. I want you to say it again and again. Bliz said, okay, they don't have to kill the Black Messiah, because they already killed the idea of a Black Messiah in Black people. Let me say it again for those who are sleeping in class. They don't have to kill the Black Messiah, because they killed the idea of a Black Messiah in the minds of Black people. Okay? So all these niggas coming in here telling you who they are, what they gonna do, that the Rape, the J's, the Roland Martins, the boys, the this, the that, I don't care what. They're not doing nothing. I'm telling you, the Black Messiah is you. And you, and you, and you. And collectively, with the mindset, we could have been up out of this. With a hard head, make a soft gripper. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't push the class enough. You don't get it. Light work. 6 months to a year, we'd be out of it. Out of it. But you refuse to listen. And these clowns, like him, are able to make sex cults, are able to make woke cults, are able to make semi-conscious cults and funny-ass names and FBA and NFAC and ADOS and all this other weirdness. And ain't none of them are going directly at your oppressor. They not. They not. None of them been behind a wall for no significant amount of time. None of them actually fought these people. None of that. These are clowns and characters right here. Okay? Simple as that. You dig? You have to have that in mind. So that's what's going on. He's setting the precedents. He's setting the precedents. Okay? This case, it is what it is. All right? Now, for people who don't believe, right, in Snowpiece on Snowpiece violence, because it was funny. It's funny how I was trying or making an attempt to title today's class, couldn't put Ofe in. It was red. All of a sudden, people, yeah, man. It's funny. This show is funny. Couldn't put, so we're going to say Snowpiece on Snowpiece. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Snowpiece on Snowpiece. Snowpiece on Snowpiece. But there was a bias in it. And how he moved, I'm sure, I'm almost positive that this man believed that he was going to unalive a melanated person. So let's get to it. Kevin Monahan was sentenced to 25 years to click for the unalive of a Schulerville woman this morning in a driveway clapping last year that garnered national attention. Now, it garnered national attention, okay? National attention. However, it wasn't pushed the way they push things now. It's for us. Everything any rapper does is national attention, global news. If Kodak Black get locked up, that's going worldwide. Worldwide. You understand that? Worldwide. Gone. Anything that happened. However, this Family and friends of Kaylin Gillis, the 20-year-old Schuylville resident, unalived after she and friends had mistakenly pulled into a driveway last April. Rejoiced as Kevin was sentenced to the maximum 25 years to click for unaliving her, as well as a consecutive sentence of 1 1/3 to 4 for tampering with evidence. Okay? For tampering with evidence. All right? Jurors concluded on January 23rd that Monahan had acted with a depraved indifference to human life when he clapped at 2 SUVs and a motorcycle that had entered his winding Hebron driveway, while looking for a party down the road. Now these people were looking for a party and mistakenly, went up into his space. Boom. The courtroom was filled with people wearing shirts and sweaters memorializing Gillis. She would have turned 21 this week. Gillis's father, her boyfriend, and another friend who was in the SUV with her when she was clapped gave impact statements. Okay? Now, the 66-year-old will unlikely get out of prison, right? Now, this is deep now. This is a 20-year-old, at the time, a 20-year-old young woman, little young girl, right? And he ain't accepting responsibility. This young chick, Alexandria, was sitting in the back seat of the SUV when Gillis was hit. Whiting says she continues experiencing pain and fear. She questioned whether this man felt any guilt and hoped that he would reflect on this woman's passing. The district attorney said he did not qualify for leniency because of his continued refusal to take accountability. Now he's sitting firm that he did the right thing at 66 years old. You have to understand the mentality of these people. Get it? Right? Let's see what took place, because I had it here. Right? Let me see because let me get this stuff. Right? Okay. Boom, 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 boom. DA judges ripping them. Right? Boom. Man, where's it at? Well, this is what happened, right? These people went up in his spot, in his driveway, right? SUVs, motorcycles, looking for a party. Go up into his driveway. He goes and gets his hammer, tells his wife to get in the closet, goes outside, claims that he bucked off one warning shot. Pow! One. When they tried to breeze, again, trying to figure out what had just happened, when they tried to breeze, he bangs at him again. Pow! Unalives this young girl. We haven't been hearing about it. Ain't been in the news. Ain't been on national news, blowed up. None of that. None of it. At all. At all. Why? Because it's a Snowpiece, and he did it to another Snowpiece. If she wasn't 20, or if that group was a bunch of melanated folk, he wouldn't even have been charged. I guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that. Why? Because you can see in his demeanor and his refusal in court from what they saying to say, you know what, I was wrong. Statement after statement, he lied or gave his truth. Statement after statement, felt he was justified in saying that he was threatened. His excuse was there were a lot of burglaries and crime was up in the community. So he felt that these people, right, were coming to get him. So he just got a quarter. 25 to click at 66 years old. Now, I'm saying this to say, if we believe that the justice system is unjust, is unequal when it comes to us and them, we may be right to a certain degree. However, we don't know because we're not them. And if you haven't been in a certain space, like doing time in prisons, whether state or federal or all around the country, you wouldn't know how many Snowpieces are actually in the justice system. How many of them have done crimes like this and way worse. Because we always tend to believe that jail is always about us. That cuffs are always about us. That courtrooms and trials are always about us. And it's only because it is not publicized as heavy. And it is only because when it comes to them, they want you to believe that in order for them to be seated at a defendant table, they had to be doing something wow, right? Like Dahmer, right? Or Gacy, or like that's the only time that they gotta be so out of their mind and morally corrupt that that's when they are found guilty. And I'm telling you, it's not true. I'm telling you, it's not true. The inequity in the scales of justice is definitely there, right? Because of people like old Slow Joe and putting policies in place that fit our demographics so perfectly, right? The 94, the crime bill, stuff like that, that fit. And it was easy to get past because those who were sitting there understood what was going to happen. Black folk too, and black senators and representatives that voted on that crime bill, they had to, they was there. And they understood that. So again, because of how we think, how we move, how we operate within the conditions that we're in, it's easy to put certain things in place where we end up on the wrong side of that scale. When you end up on the wrong side of the scale, there's nothing you can do, which is why I always say prevention is the key. I was looking at one of these so-called internet sensations earlier in his latest 2-hour video talking about the jewels that they are dropping on the justice system and things like that. And this is what going on and that what going on. The only jewel is to not get caught up in it. They want people to believe that we cannot halt ourselves from crime or participating in criminal elements. That's just dumb. If you think people cannot stop, I'm telling you, you're witnessing it. Nobody did it more than me. Nobody. New York City, Brooklyn, New York, East New York, Brooklyn. Nobody did it more than we did. And many of us stopped. Super predators. All day, every day. While we're up and awake, doing it. While we rest and unconscious, dreaming about it. We get active, lit, whatever you want to call it, all day, every day. And we stopped. There was an awakening. There was a recognizing of our potential. You say, yo, hold up. Nah, that's not my story. Okay? So when people come online and hold platforms and speak to things and act as if we cannot prevent ourselves from being criminals or being enticed into crime because it's just who we are, that shit is ignorant. So ain't nobody dropping no jewels by telling you how to act in court or telling you how to perform when you have police contact. There ain't no jewels in that. Dummy, the jewels in is not doing it. That's the jewel. Prevention. Let me show you how to prevent the mindset of you coming into contact with the justice system. The hell, I gotta tell you how to perform in it. It's too late. I didn't write my book talking about what's in it to tell you how to navigate. No, the first chapter in it is prevention. Don't have that mindset before you walk out your door. To really be woke and conscious and to have a true knowledge of self, you're not going to go out the door and have police contact. Simple as that. How can we condition through true educational process? That's liberation. When we build liberators. Not when we building some reform dudes. Reform, you have a good chance of going back. You understand? But white folks go to jail. Yeah, they do. And white folks unalive white folks every day. All right? That is the truth. So again, as always, don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you. Don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you. Because you are that Messiah. It's you. You don't get it yet? I'm serious. Y'all don't get that shit? Y'all don't get it yet? You are that Messiah. So whatever they did out there, whatever they do on social media, whoever they prop up, does not telling you that, you should question that shit. And I'm telling you for an absolute fact that that is the root cause of why we still where we at. Because the devil understood it. We don't have to unalive the Black Messiah. We don't have to look for the Black Messiah. We could prop up fake messiahs. We don't have to do it. We don't have to destroy the Black Messiah because we already destroyed the idea of a Black Messiah in Black people. They got y'all looking crazy out here. So anybody that comes up and speaks love, encouragement, and liberation into you, people looking at them with a weird eye. Because they damned the idea. They destroyed this shit. And I'm putting it back. I'm putting it back. So all peace and power to people to struggle. Okay? Boom. We'll see y'all later on. Peace.